Greetings, Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Titan Law. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today, I'm in conversation with Zimbabwean singer and songwriter Tafadzwa Tarukwana, otherwise known as ASAPH. Enjoy this truly inspirational conversation. Tafadzwa Tarukwana, otherwise known as ASAPH. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor.
Hey, thank you for having me, Mr. Trevor.
Well, let me start off first of all by saying congratulations for having been nominated for the MTV Africa Awards 2021. How does that feel like?
Hey, thank you so much. It really feels like a huge honor. I was just joking around with a friend saying it's kind of like what Kirsty Coventry might have felt when she was swimming at the Olympics representing Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? It's such an honor to represent the country on such a continental stage as an artist, as a hip hop artist. You know, hip hop is not one of the biggest genres in the country, but then this opportunity hopefully can shine a light on this genre that is growing in the country right now. Especially as an artist coming from Bulawayo, I feel like it's a real opportunity to uplift a lot of people who feel like because of where they come from, they can't do much. And they can't really achieve a lot. But I'm really hoping that this is just an inspiration to everyone watching to say, whether you're from Mutare, Mashwingo, Vic Falls, Bulawayo, you can really stand out and shine for the country.
Try and describe what hip hop is to my generation, you know, the oldies. What is hip hop?
Hip hop is basically, first and foremost, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle where young people express themselves through dancing, through graffiti, and through rapping, which is the most popular aspect of that genre. And when it comes to that aspect, that's now the music part of it, where we rap over instrumentals that are really drum-driven beats, basically. And most of it is taken from samples of old music. There's one song that I released called Like So, which is a sample of a Mbira Zanarira track. So we took that Mbira sample and we just added drums and 808s to it to give it a more modern feel, a more youthful element to it. And then I come and perform rap on over it, basically. And that's what hip hop is, rhythm and poetry.
I listened to 3 of your songs. I would want us to get into what inspired you to do the pieces. But for now, is it true that for this MTV Africa Awards, the nomination, you came ahead of Winky D, Gemma Griffiths, and Shasha? Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, it's very true.
Wow, this is huge, eh?
Yes, it is. I mean, especially for the genre, like I mentioned to say, hip hop was that genre that wasn't looked at as, you know, a serious genre because it's mainly done by young guys. It's mainly done by, and the majority, you know, hip hop has this look or feel that it's such a rebellious genre of guys who are not really serious about what they're doing. So now getting this nomination, I'm really hoping I can shine a light on the fact that there are guys who are out here really putting thought into their music, really wanting to be serious and take it all the way. And the fact that a lot of people managed to come behind me and support me when we were shortlisted means a lot to me because the shortlisting voting was going on and was being held on Twitter. All people had to do was to tweet the hashtag, and then that would put me in running to be actually shortlisted. So a lot of people came out tweeting for my hashtag ASAPH for Mama, ASAPH for Mama, to the point that it even trended in Zimbabwe. I think 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. It trended in South Africa as well on the Tuesday. So the support was really, really overwhelming.
Are they still taking votes, ASAPH, or the votes are closed now?
Yes, the voting, the show itself was postponed. It was meant to be on the 20th of February, but they pushed it to another date that was yet to be advised. But then the website where the voting is taking place is still up, is still running. People can still go onto that website and cast their votes.
How do they do it? How do they cast their votes?
They head over to www.mtvmama.com and then you head over to the voting segment, and then all the categories will be listed. Mine is the one that's right at the end, the listener's choice category. So once you click on the listener's choice category, it will show you all the artists that are there. And my name, ASAPH. You just click on my handsome face, ASAPH, boom, and that's a vote. And you can vote as many times as you can.
That's amazing. What does it mean, ASAPH, for you that you are, for me, you are fresh on the scene, but you for this competition you've come out on top of Winky D, Gemma Griffiths, and Shasha. What does that mean? I mean, in terms of your bursting into the scene.
For me, I guess it's a kind of stamp of approval. It's a kind of maturing, being opened up to a new level of music, being now mentioned in the same conversation as a Ja Praiser or a Winky D, really kind of shows me the level that I've grown to, and shows me the level of work that is now expected of me, because this is where the work starts. Just because you're nominated, that's not the finish line. Even if I win the award, the Mama, that's not the finish line. This is now where the work comes in to show people that voted for me, to show people that believed, and even those that didn't believe, that yes, I am worth it. I am worth the Mama. I am worth the fact that everyone is rallying behind me. So it just means more work is needed. I am now no longer just a Bulawayo artist. I am now no longer just a hip-hop artist, but I'm a Zimbabwean musician.
Are you ready for it?
Yes, sir. I was born ready for it. This is what I was made for.
That's good to hear. That's good. So the 2021 MTV Awards in Uganda, as you've said, were cancelled because of an online campaign around human rights abuses in Uganda just before the election, and particularly the way in which your fellow musician Bobi Wine was treated, the abuse, the beatings of his supporters, and so forth. Do you take a stand on those kind of issues?
I do. You always try to be as careful as we can. But I'm someone, for those who would listen to my music, in 2019, I released an album called The People's Rapper, because I really believe like I've been given a voice or an opportunity or a platform to speak for the people and speak to the people. So no matter what issues are going on, I need to find a way to communicate hope, to communicate so that people can feel like they are being spoken to. There's a song that I did called Real Ones, which was basically a prayer for the nation, saying, my Lord, I hope you make a way for the real ones. Last year, 2020, when there was the whole hashtag Zimbabwean Lives Matter movement going on, there's a song that I released called Aspheli Moya, which basically means we never give up, we never tire. So that I really feel my music can be a tool to just keep people motivated, to keep people inspired, to say no matter how tough things may be, here is a 3-minute song that can lift your spirit a bit. Here's a 3-minute song that can encourage you that you might be able to make it to the next day. So I am someone who really has that heart for the people. So when the announcement came out that the awards might not be happening anymore, and it was kind of because of this situation, the artist in me was a bit disappointed, because I was so excited and really wanting to hear the results. But then now the human in me, the African in me, was also thinking, but wait, if this was a situation happening here in Zimbabwe, I would want the same courtesy from my fellow Africans. So it is what it is. I feel like we just have to stand with them and send our prayers and our love their way.
Well, I would assume that right now, Bobi Wine would appreciate a message coming from a young African like you. Would you have a message for him?
My message for him would be he should remain inspiring the people. He may remain inspiring, remain being a beacon of hope, because you never know what your life can bring about. Even if you feel like you've lost it, or you feel like everything else is against you, your resilience, your courage, your strength can inspire someone, can inspire a whole generation, can even inspire people in another country who are going through their own situations. So no matter what it feels like, even if it feels like you're losing, even if it feels like your life could be in danger, you never know what your resilience means to someone who is watching you, and that could be the person who brings a turnaround. that could be the person who changes the whole way Africa is. So that would be my encouragement to him, to say, remember that it is for bigger than just who you are, bigger than just Uganda, because I really feel Africa as a whole needs more young leaders who are not afraid to stand for what they believe in.
Wow, that's a powerful message. We will send it across to Bobi Wine, and I'm sure a lot of Ugandans and these supporters are going to be grateful for that. ASAPH, let me take you back to January 11, 1992. Do you remember what happened there?
Yeah, yes, that's when I was born.
You were
That's
born
when
January 11, 1992, and you were born Tafadzwa Tarukwana. Why did
Yes,
you
sir.
change your name, and why did you choose the name ASAPH?
The funny thing about that story, when I started rapping, my name wasn't ASAPH. I started rapping, my name was Fire, right? And it wasn't even a name I'd given myself. It was a name that, my high school friends had given me. So I just started using that one. And then in 2011, I went to Swaziland, Eswatini, where I started making gospel music. I was doing an internship with Bible school. So I had this index of Hebrew names, right? So, and I was someone who always loved to read the dictionary, find new words, especially for rhyming purposes, and say, oh, this is a nice word that I've never heard before. Maybe I could use it. So I would read indexes. I would read all sorts of books and stuff. So I had this index of Hebrew names. So as I was going through it, I came across the name ASAPH. So I loved what it meant. I saw who the characters were in the Bible, and I love their stories and what they stood for. So the name means Jehovah has gathered. And I believe like I'm someone who has been put in a position to gather a whole generation of young Zimbabweans, of young Africans. And once we are all together, united behind one idea, behind one movement, anything is possible. Anything that we set our minds to can be really achieved. So I really believe that I can be used as an agent of change, as an agent to inspire, to motivate young people to think differently, young people to value themselves, especially for young Zimbabweans, because I feel we are having a certain esteem issue, maybe because of how we feel our country is portrayed to the rest of the world. But just to encourage us to say, no, as Zimbabweans, we do have something that we can contribute to this world and where it is going. And if I can do that through my music, then that's a plus. So that's the reason why I chose that name.
So ASAPH, tell me, you say you went to Eswatini. Could you just explain to us why you went to Eswatini and how long you spent there and why you came back?
I was an intern at a Bible school there. So it was just a program for 1 year, where we were doing a couple of projects with an NGO that was based there, an NGO and a church that was based there. So that's what I was doing there. A lot of work with care points, underprivileged children, feeding programs, stuff like that, and a little bit of preaching here and there.
So God and faith plays a role in your life. Speak to me about that.
Yes, definitely. There was a long time where my parents were pastors in a church, and you know that thing. Once you're a pastor, you are kind of always a pastor, because it's not based on a title or based on a job or based on a church that you're working with, but just based on a calling. So they raised me according to the Bible. They raised me Christian, you know what I mean? And so faith has always been a part of me. Belief has always been something that has kept me going. Even if the music that I make is not necessarily termed gospel music, but it's still faith-driven music, because I talk about God, I talk about my convictions, I talk about what I believe God wants me to do for this generation and with this generation.
You talk about your generation having issues of esteem. Do you want to unpack that for us, ASAPH?
For me, I really feel as Zimbabweans, we are always, especially young Zimbabweans, we are always looking to, my quick examples is looking to South Africa to find what is cool, what is trending, what is happening, looking to Nigeria to find what is cool, what is trending, what is happening, and neglecting to find that thing about us as Zimbabweans that makes us special, that we can stand behind and we can contribute to the world. I really feel because of the way we feel our country is represented in the news, in the global news, in the global community, where it's always just bad news. It's always just, oh, inflation this, oh, economy that, and it all seems to be bad. And everyone just has this idea of leaving. I want to leave Zimbabwe. I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to the UK. I want to go where? And I really feel like as long as we still have that in our minds, things won't really change, because the love for ourselves, the love for the country is not there. But if we can be people who value ourselves and see ourselves as important and see ourselves as people with something to contribute to the world, we will make sure that the right thing is being done by us. We will make sure that we are standing up for our rights, that we are standing up for what we believe in. So I just hope that my music, and me being a Zimbabwean, me being whatever heights my music go to, that people may look and say, oh, wow. So which means as a Zimbabwean, even if I'm a soccer player, I can do this to the best of my ability and shine a light and paint Zimbabwe in a good way. Me as a doctor, I can do this to the best of my ability and shine a light in Zimbabwe a good way. Me as whatever field that you are in, being a Zimbabwean and projecting your light to the world, as a Zimbabwean who is unashamed, as a Zimbabwean who loves where they come from, and not as someone who just wants to leave, not as someone who would prefer to be Nigerian or South African or in the UK. Not that there's anything wrong with those who have left already, but just for us to have that love for our identity as Zimbabweans.
So the bright lights of Johannesburg, the bright lights of New York and London are not calling on you, ASAPH?
I'm sure they will call me when the time is right. I believe like I'm someone who takes steps. I don't want to get ahead of myself and try and take over New York before I've taken over Zimbabwe, or try to take over London before I've taken over the region, because I feel like it has to grow with me so that my foundation is strong, so that my roots are really deep. So it started off in my neighborhood, where guys in my neighborhood know, oh, ASAPH, he raps. And then it went to the whole city. They're like, oh, ASAPH, he raps. And then it went to the whole country. Oh, ASAPH, he raps. Now it's going to go to the whole region. And now because of this mama, the whole continent, you know what I mean? And just keep on building like that. I don't want to miss any step, because in trying to rush and get ahead and get to the lights, I might miss a lot of lessons that will happen along the way. And even in that pursuit, right, I'm coming out to the country as an artist from Bulawayo. I'm coming out to the region as an artist from Zimbabwe. I'm coming out to Africa as an artist from Southern Africa. I'm coming out to the world as an artist from Africa. So I don't want to miss any of those steps, because there are lots of things I'll experience and learn about the continent, about the region, about my country, that the world needs to hear. So if I just run there before I learn those things, then I don't think I'll have anything of value to teach them, or have anything of value to say, us as Africans, this is what we have to contribute to the bright lights of New York.
Wow, that's deep. That. Let's go to that neighborhood. Let's go to your roots. Where were you born, and where were you raised, ASAPH?
I was born at Mater Dei Hospital here in Bulawayo. Where I was raised, I was kind of raised in, I would say, 3 different neighborhoods. When I was a baby, we stayed in Montrose, and then we moved to Llewellyn, and then we moved to Padonest. We moved around quite a bit, and then we moved to Hillside, moved to Malindela, moved to Machamhlope, moved to North End, and now we are here between North End and town. So I moved around quite a bit. So I wouldn't say I had real strong friendship bonds in my neighborhood, but then the moving around gave me a love and appreciation for my city, because I saw that, okay, I can have influence in this neighborhood, I can have influence in that neighborhood, and they can all rally behind me when the time is right, when it's time for me to do something that I feel I need people around me from different walks of life to come and feel like they are represented. Because I'll have an experience in North End and I'll talk about it. And I'll have experience in Machamhlope, talk about it. Visit my friend in Luveve, have an experience there. And when I'm writing my music and all these experiences are highlighted and mentioned, which means everyone from this city, every neighborhood, every suburb, every ghetto can feel somehow represented when they listen to the songs I make.
So you were raised by pastors. Speak
Yes.
to me about how you were molded into becoming the ASAPH that I'm talking to you right now.
I was really raised around respect, honor, love, humility. Those are values that when I look at myself or when I look at things that I value, those are the things that I feel were put into me coming up, especially the belief that God and prayer really work. God and prayer, that covering is really, really important in no matter what you are doing, even if it's going on stage to perform. Until this day, me and my DJ and the guy who will be with me on stage, we say a prayer to make sure that we are covered, to make sure that God is just blessing the work that we are doing. So I really feel that is what is important in keeping me here. There are a lot of things that have nothing to do with talent that I feel keep on opening doors for me. Things like knowing when to be humble, knowing when to be generous, knowing when to be loving, knowing when to listen, stuff like that, knowing when to be respectful. Those things are the things that have opened a lot of doors for me that talent could have never done. You know, because someone would look at you and say, okay, I like your character. Oh, I like the fact that you said, let's start with a prayer. I like the fact that you said this, you know what I mean? So those are the things that I feel have been keeping me going up until this point. It's not like I'm the best artist in the world, but I'm just someone who I feel has a grace or has a covering upon me that anything I do will come to pass.
And which schools did you go to, ASAPH?
Primary schools, I went to SOS primary school, and then I did a little bit of Baines. There's Baines Primary School, and then I went to Hillside Primary School. And then for high school, I went to Petra High. That's Petra High School. That's where I did my Form 1 until upper 6.
Any teacher that, as far as you're concerned, played a huge role in your life and you can still remember them at all?
Right now, I think I would have to say my English teacher in high school, Mr. Aldridge, because he, after every essay, after every project that I would work on and write and hand in, he would sometimes would be so impressed. He would call me after and says, "You're a really good writer. Well done, well done." You know, so I guess it was that encouragement that even in my music now, I really want to regard myself as a really good writer. So I guess that's what just kept me going, and even he's the one that comes to my mind when I think about someone who played a role in where I am now. Just that encouragement to say, keep writing, keep writing.
Do you keep in touch with him
I'm
at
sure
all?
he didn't. Pardon?
Do you keep in touch with him at all?
No, I do not.
You
No, I
don't.
do not.
Okay.
I do not, unfortunately.
Tell me, when did you discover that you had a passion for music and the arts?
For music, I'm sure when I was, for as long as I could remember, to be honest, because growing up, you know, my parents on Sunday mornings, you'd hear gospel music being played, you'd hear Ron Kinoli, you'd hear all sorts of gospel tapes, gospel music being played in the house. My little sister, who's a beautiful vocalist, she had been doing music way before I was, and she's younger than me, and she knew she could sing because the voice, I mean, the voice is built in, it's always there. So she would be singing, and I guess growing up in that environment of watching her singing, my parents playing music, kind of just birthed that in me. So I was a performer. I could do the Sunday school plays, I could do the drama here and there, but then to fall in love with now the genre of hip hop music, I guess that was 2002. Okay, I'll be lying. I can't remember which 2000 it was. But my dad came home with the Wiztech decoder. It was a Friday night, and he plugged in the Wiztech decoder. The first thing that came on was Coca-Cola Flavor Dome on BTV. And then I saw this music video by Snoop Dogg and Pharrell. And I guess that's what got me hooked onto the genre. I'd heard of the genre before, of hip hop before, but there was something special about that night when I saw that music video and I saw like just the coolness, you know what I mean? Just how the rappers have this bravado about them, have this confidence about them. I kind of knew that going further in high school, that's kind of the energy that I wanted to portray. So I would start by in getting into groups with my friends, and guys would be rapping, and I would rap lyrics that I would have heard from music that I liked. So an Eminem verse here, a 50 Cent verse there, until I got to the point of saying, you know what, if I can rap these verses so well, because my friends were convinced that those were my lyrics. So I said, if I could do this so well, I'm sure if I write my own lyrics, I could perform them in a way that people could say, wow, is that you? And I could finally say, yes, I'm the one who wrote it. You know what I mean? So that's basically how I got into music. And because of the performing that I had done, you know, with Sunday school and with my little sister, there were times my little sister and I would put on like variety shows for my parents and would sing these gospel kiddie tape songs that we'd have as kids and perform for them and stuff like that. So I guess performing was just always there. Then once the music was attached, the hip hop music was attached, it just blew up.
Wow. So I get the sense from what you've just outlined that the environment at home played a big role. And of course that WizTech, you know, show that got you into hook. And it sounds like your little sister sings better than you do. Who else in the family sings?
There was, well, to this day, it's just me and my little sister. There was a time my parents were in the choir, but I wouldn't say that their voices are, you know, all of us can sing.
Yeah.
But my little sister can really, really sing. The church we go to is Harvest House International. So she's part of the super choir there. She sometimes leads when they have their big concerts. Even in church, she'll be leading a couple of worship songs. She is really talented.
You have a passion for highlighting social issues. Speak to me about that. Why do you go there?
From the first songs that I released, the first album that I released in 2015. The type of music I made was music to talk about my experiences, what I'm seeing around me, and just the life stories that are happening around me. So when I was at that age, I would talk about the things that I would witness in my life, you know. I would talk about girls going to parties, being drugged, and guys taking advantage of them. I'll talk about underage drinking and guys being involved in accidents because of it, because that was what I was seeing. That was what was surrounding me at that time. And as I grew up, as I grew older, starting to pay attention to what's going on in the news, starting to pay attention to what's going on in the newspapers, it would be the main things that I'll be thinking about, because I'm now growing up, I'm finding my way in where I belong in the world. And if I see injustices, if I see certain things that I feel, wait, I have an opinion about tribalism. Wait, I have an opinion about decentralization, or I have an opinion about Zim Lives Matter. So, and that's just basically where it comes from. It's not like I'm purposefully trying to be an activist, but I'm just really speaking about what is in my heart, what is in my mind, the things that I'm seeing affecting me, the things that I'm seeing affecting my friends, the things that I'm seeing affecting my family, in an attempt to say, if I make this type of music, can I somehow create an environment where more of us are thinking like this, where more of us are noticing the injustices, where more of us are noticing the inequality. And hopefully, when more of us notice that, maybe we can group together and something can be done about it.
I would have thought that because you came from this Christian environment and you're exposed to a bit of gospel, you went to Eswatini for a Christian journey of some sort, that gospel will be the thing that you go to. I mean, explain that decoupling between you and gospel music.
Well, in 2011, 2012, until 2013, I was actually making gospel hip hop. And I was right behind that term of coining it as gospel hip hop. The reason why I kind of dropped that element of it was because I felt the music and the message of the music was being kept in that gospel category. So whether it's an award show, whether if it's a music show, you are kept in that, oh, this is the gospel category. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it really doesn't get to now spill over and penetrate into the masses where we wanted to go to. Because if someone is to go into a store and say, I'm not even Christian, so why will I buy the gospel music? I don't even believe that, so why will I buy that? So, but if you listen to my music until today, I don't swear in my music. You won't find a lot of profanity in my music. I keep it clean, and some of my songs are prayers. You know what I'm saying? So it's not called gospel, but I feel it's really faith-based, inspirational music. You know what I'm saying? So it was just mainly about that. Also a bit of element that I did want to compete. I didn't want to be sidelined as just a gospel rapper, because if you look at those categories, they'll say best male at Zim Hip Hop Awards. There'll be best male, best album, best newcomer, then best gospel. But what if I have the best album as a gospel artist? You know what I'm saying? What if I have the best video as a gospel artist? You're just going to group all of it into best gospel. You know what I'm saying? Yet I could be making music that is as good as the guys you are saying, oh, this is secular, they are best male. I deserve to be there as well, regardless of what my subject matter is, whether it's gospel, whether it's not gospel. So that was just me as well.
I get you, and I also get the sense, ASAPH, that one day you'll go back to doing gospel together with everything that you're doing. Am I right?
I might not call it gospel, but you will hear more and more of those themes. Yes.
Okay, let's go to your songs. I picked up three songs, and I just want us to discuss them. BTD, that's Back to the Day, is it?
December.
Back to December. Back to December, featuring Msizi K and Mawiza. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
What inspired the song? It's a beautiful song. I love the beat. What inspired the song?
What inspired the song was, 2020 was basically a lockdown year. It was basically a lot of things got put on hold. A lot of things were canceled. A lot of things didn't go the way people wanted. So with that song, I was recalling the December of 2019 and how coming on to 2020, there was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of optimism in the air to say, wow, we're going to 2020. It's going to be a new year. It's going to be a new decade. Everything, we're excited. Whoa. So I just wanted to say, let's take it back to December, to how we were feeling. Let's take it back to when everything was good, when, you know what I mean? We could dance, we could what? And so that's basically what I wanted, just to give people a 3-minute, 30 seconds break from everything that was going on, so they can just have replay when things were great, so that we could create that environment for ourselves, even in 2020.
And then the second song is Like So, Moroi. And the line that caught me there is, I'm not a Shona man, I'm Zimbabwean.
Yes.
Speak to me about what inspired that song, and particularly that line.
Well, Like So was just inspired by the idea of unity. That's why I had that thing of saying we connected like so. We are connected like so. At that time, I was feeling a lot of tension between being a Shona in Bulawayo and then being someone from Bulawayo in moving in Harare spaces and being regarded as Ndebele. You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to highlight the fact that we are all connected, that everything that we do as Zimbabweans, we are one. We are one people. If we stay trying to say, oh, you are Kalanga, oh, you are Tonga, or you are Shona, you are Ndebele, we might not go anywhere as a people of Zimbabwe. So just that thing to embrace each other and love, and to show us that the things that unite us are actually more than the things that divide us. So that was the whole point of the song, to say, may this be the new national anthem. May this be the new spirit of the nation, to say we are connected like so, basically.
Do you still feel that strain of being a Shona guy in Bulawayo, not completely embraced in Harare because you're a Bulawayo guy? Do you feel that strain?
Well, it's yes, in certain spaces. In certain spaces, yes. There are spaces.
Speak to me about how that feels like and how you deal with it.
It kind of frustrates, because sometimes I would feel I'm nominated for certain categories or awards nationally, and I would feel that is representing the city on that level. But maybe because Shona and not really considered as part of the people, it's not considered as an actual representation. You get the sense. So now, and worse, if I'm now in Harare, because I'm from here, you're not really embraced and taken into the circles where things are happening and shown how you can actually take it to the next level operating there, because you're not really from there. So it's just trying to navigate through all of that. But I seem to be doing okay.
What do we do, ASAPH? I mean, you're a young person, you're 29 years old, to be facing this kind of headwinds. What do we do as a nation and as a people to overcome that kind of frustration that you're experiencing? It's basically discrimination in Bulawayo and discrimination in Harare to a Zimbabwean.
Yeah, I would, the thing that I would say, I guess it's more visible showcases of that representation. Once people are shown images of Shonas, Ndebeles, Kalangas, Tongas, interacting and just living life as Zimbabweans, I guess that's when we would be able to interact easier as the people. That's what I'm thinking of in terms of the images that we are shown, so that we know that nothing is ever one thing. Bulawayo is not all Ndebele. Harare is not all Shona. You see what I'm saying? Once we are able to be shown images, shown ideas, shown pictures of inclusion, shown pictures and ideas of diversity, I think that's a way we could start. Let me give an example. There's a song that I was a part of with Gemma Griffiths and Natty O, right, called 263. So Gemma Griffiths, who is a white lady, Natty O, who is Shona from Harare, and me coming from Bulawayo, but on that song I performed in Ndebele. My verse that I performed was in Ndebele. So when people heard that song and they saw there's a white lady, there's someone who's singing Shona, there's someone who's singing in Ndebele, a lot of the comments on that song were like, oh, this is what Zimbabwe looks like. This is what Zimbabwe should look like. This is what we need. This is so. And as an entertainer, I was thinking, so maybe that's what they actually need: more images, more music, movies coming from Zimbabwe, but that are really showing this inclusion, that are really showing all walks of life in Zimbabwe. That could be a start to now get people to say, oh, wow, Ndebele sounds so nice in a song. Oh, wow, Shona sounds so nice in a... That's what I'm thinking. I'm not really a politician or something. So as an entertainer, that's what I think.
Yeah. Tell me, what's been the response then to that song? Like, so, Moroi, I'm not Shona. I'm not a Shona man, I'm a Zimbabwean. What's been the response, the public response to the song?
The public response has been really good. People really embraced that song very well. A lot of people saying, yo, we need more messages like this. A lot of people even tweeting that line saying, I'm not a Shona, I'm a Zimbabwean. I'm not in Ndebele, I'm Zimbabwean. So yeah, it was received well. Even on radio here in Zimbabwe, it did pretty well. On ZFM, was topping the charts for, I think, maybe 4 weeks. It was at number 1. So people really gravitated towards it. People really embraced the message.
So maybe the challenge goes back to you as artists, that it's you artists that ought to model a message of unity and positive message. Is that a challenge that you think artists will embrace?
I really hope so. I really hope so. But it will take a few people to initiate that change or that move, because artists will always be artists, and sometimes the sidelining, I feel, comes from other artists or other people in the creative space, because it will be a thing of saying, since we are from Bulawayo, the arts in Bulawayo belongs to Ndebeles, or since we are artists in Harare, the arts in Harare belong to Shonas, which shouldn't be the case. So hopefully there will be those people. That's why, like the Gemmas, like the Natty O's, like the Winky D's, who are looking and striving to do more than just make music, but to actually break down barriers and unite the people at that level.
But the other song, the third one, is ASAPH Moyo. I love that one. I think that's my favorite song. What's the inspiration to that song?
the inspiration behind that song was around the whole Zimbabwean Lives Matter movement, to say, just to give people that hope and encouragement, to say we should never tire, we should never give up. Losing hope is equivalent to just dying. No matter how tough things get, there is always hope for tomorrow if we are able just to be strong and make it to that next day. So I just wanted to create an anthem, a soundtrack for ordinary Zimbabweans who are out there living their lives, going to work, coming home, trying to survive Corona, trying to survive this lockdown, to say, you know what, as Pelimoya, we will never give up. We won't give in, we won't be broken, we won't be sidelined, we won't be silenced until we get things right or until things are better.
Beautiful. I love the song. At the top of the show, ASAPH, we spoke about the nomination for the Africa Awards. You have yes. gotten more awards, the Zim Hip Hop Awards, the Bulawayo yes. Arts Awards, and recently the PPC Zimbabwe Music Awards. That must be yes. hugely encouraging and inspirational to you.
Yes, it definitely is, because all these things just serve as confirmations to say, indeed, I'm on the right track. If a whole, because all these award shows have committees that sit down and kind of pick out the nominees and critique and decide on who the winner should be or who the nominee should be. So if a whole board of people have sat down and have decided that I'm one of the top artists in Bulawayo, have decided that I'm one of the top artists in Zimbabwe, then that should actually mean I'm on the right track and I'm doing something that is good, that is being recognized by people who are professionally sitting down and critiquing music.
Well, we wish you many more. Is there an award right now that you are targeting, that you're setting your eyes on?
Well, it's the Mamas. I really want the Mamas, right. But the one that I'm actually have my heart on, I have not, is the best male anyway. Best male in Zim Hip Hop, best male in Bulawayo Arts, best male at the Namas, best male at the Zimas. I feel best male is that sign of maturity. That okay, you as an artist have grown. You are a leader now in this space, in this genre. So I'm really someone who I am really coveting for the day that I get awarded best male. I would really feel like that would be a huge achievement for me, because that's an award I have not yet won till this day.
And the Summer Awards?
And yes, eventually the Summers as well. Eventually a BET and a Grammy.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Describe to me your hustle, ASAPH. What is it like being a musician in Zimbabwe at this particular moment?
It's really tough, man. Especially in terms of it as a hustle, in terms of it bringing back what I can say revenue that is substantial enough for you to live and continue doing that. You will definitely need a side hustle. You would definitely need to, and I'm sure that's the case of many other things in Zimbabwe, many other industries in Zimbabwe, not just the art sector. But it is really tough in trying to figure out how to be creative enough to present this music on platforms that the common ordinary Zimbabwean can have access to it, because things like Spotify are not yet working in Zim. Not every Zimbabwean has free access to internet, you know what I mean? So making sure that one, your music is especially for me, because I believe my music is message based. So I really wanted to get to the people on the street, to the child on the street. But now how to do that is the tricky part, and how to make sure that it's making sense, because we want that music to make the money so we can shoot the videos. We want that music to make the money so we can continue making the music. But now the music for the videos is coming out of my own pocket from hustles that I'm doing elsewhere. The music, the money for the album, investing in the studio time is coming from my own pocket that I'm getting from other deals. So it's really kind of like we are funding this thing based off of our own hustles. But we do know it can grow to a point where the music is funding itself. So it's really tiring. But once you really know what you're doing it for, once you really know your destiny and where you're going with it, it kind of relieves that pressure a bit, because you know you're not just wasting your time. You're not just wasting your money. That it is purpose driven. It is something that eventually will pay off, whether in terms of paying off in money, but paying off in the changed minds, in the changed hearts and lives. That someone listened to us, Pelimoya, and they're able to say, yo, your song inspired me to wake up another day and try go out and do life. For me, that's also a win.
And talk to me about your journey with Sky's Metro FM.
Well, being on radio, I'm someone who not only loves hip hop, but I love music in general. I love playing music. I love listening to music. So, and when I got onto Sky's Metro, at one point I didn't even want to play hip hop. I wanted to play house. I wanted to play amapiano. I wanted to play Afrobeat music because I wanted people. The show is called Good Times Friday. I really just wanted to give people a good time to say Friday night when work is done, the week is done, you're at home, you're listening to these nice vibes, getting you ready for the weekend. But then I also realized that as a hip hop artist, I am more in tune with the hip hop culture of Bulawayo than anyone else at the station. So I could really be a key person to shine a light on many hip hop artists who are in the city, who are looking for a way to get their music out and somehow take it to the next level. So now I also have a segment called 16 Bars where I strictly play hip hop music that is coming from Bulawayo. And I do play some songs from other cities as well, but the main focus is to just shine that light to say, Bulawayo, these are your hip hop artists. These are the artists that are representing you coming from the city, so that hopefully they can fall in love with a few individuals and rally behind them and say we are supporting them, so that when it's time for them to be nominated for a Zim Hip Hop Award, we have people who are going to vote because they know their music, they know their songs. When it's time for people to be nominated for a Zima or a Mama even, when we need people to vote, there will be people in Bulawayo who say, yes, I heard that song being played on ASAPH's show. I know who that artist is. I'm going to vote.
So how much time do you spend at Sky's Metro FM a week? Is it a big part of your life?
It used to be before the whole lockdown came with all its restrictions. But 2019, early 2020, I would be there almost all day during the week, depending on how demanding the show is on that time, depending on how much we're putting into it. There was a time where I was actually filming. I would invite rappers to come onto my show and actually have like freestyles that I would record and put onto YouTube. So those days I would really spend a lot of time there. But then when the lockdown came and restrictions of having live guests and stuff, now I just go up when I'm actually preparing for my show and going in, which is just on the Fridays. Because before this second lockdown came, I'd been given 2 more shows, which were during the week.
Wow.
So I was on air 3 times a week. But now it has been cut down just to 1 because of the whole stuff. But I'm sure once things open up and everything is back to normal, I'll be back to being there a lot.
Does it help to be on radio? Does it help your career to be on radio?
I really think it does. It grows me from just being a rapper, just being an artist, to now being an authority in the genre, to now being an authority in music. And I do want to see how far I can take it, maybe get into production, producing my own shows, not just on radio, even on TV, have my own podcasts, have my own shows. Hopefully this is just setting me up, maybe even be an MC. So this is just setting me up, training my public speaking abilities, training my ability to speak and talk and just share. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. It's a journey that will not end on radio, definitely.
Absolutely. Talk to me now about the biggest challenges to your career right now. I mean, what is it that would make your career even better from a national perspective?
From a national perspective, what is it that will make my career better? Just the support of the people. that's the honest truth. That's just the support of the people. For people to embrace Zim arts as their own and to be passionate about it, the way they're passionate about Manchester United, the way they're passionate about Beyonce. They are Arsenal, you see what once we get the people to rally behind us in that way, anything will be possible. I really believe that. It's just now there's a lot of looking down upon our own things. It's slowly changing. It's much better than it used to be. It's slowly changing. But once we can it can never be enough. The love can never be enough. Once we really get the people to really embrace the arts, no matter what art it is, hip hop, no matter who it is, whether it's me, whether it's Amara Brown, whether it's Rocky, whether it's who, once we can get the people to stand behind us and say, as Zimbabweans, this is our artist and we're going to ride for them to the end. That's how we win these awards. That's how we continue getting on these platforms. That's how we get more doors to be open for us to represent the country on different types of levels. So for me, I guess that would be the biggest challenge. Just that resistance of people saying, can anything good come from Zim? Just that. Once we're able to change that mindset, the world will be ours.
What if a pushback, ASAPH, and say, it's up to you as artists to wow us. It's up to you to produce fantastic work that will make us fully embrace you. What would you say to that pushback?
What I would say is, to a certain extent, we kind of are doing that. The only challenge is now getting more people to know about it, because we can release amazing music. Back to December, in my opinion, is a really good song and really nice retro vibe that can even penetrate into the South African market. But unless someone tells them about it, they won't know it. So if I can have 10 fans who are really crazy about my music, who then tell another 10 and another 10 and another 10, that's how the music gets spread out. Because I can make all the amazing music, all the amazing hits that wow people. But if no one is listening, if no one is sharing it to the next person, then it's not going to go anywhere. So yes, we really do have to be consistent in producing quality that people can love and embrace. But the people also have a responsibility to make sure that if they love something, they need to tell the next man. They need to tell the next man, spread the word so that that love can be increased. That's how views go up. That's how subscribers go up. And that's how like the message is really taken out. So that now even South Africans, even Nigerians say, what is this new genre in Zimbabwe that is driving the Zimbabweans crazy? You see what I'm saying? Who is this new artist that is making the Zimbabweans put their hands up and scream? Now we want to work with him, because people would love to buy into something once we embrace it for ourselves. While if we are still in a situation of trying to reach out to them and grab what they have, they will not want what we have. But once we are embracing ourselves, enjoying ourselves, our music, our products, our brands, our productions, then everyone else will now want to have a part in it. Everyone in Africa will say, yo, I want a piece of that, because the Zimbabweans are enjoying that and they seem to be having a really good time with it.
What would be your message to your generation who are battling, in this pandemic season, battling to get jobs, battling with life? What would be a message from ASAPH to his generation?
To my generation, my message would be, it's time for us to get very, very creative. It's time for us to start thinking outside the box, especially now in lockdown. I feel lockdown has really shown us that we really need to think outside the box. We really need to remove ourselves from the normal ways of thinking. Even in lockdown, while we can't do much, my encouragement to them is that lockdown will eventually finish. And when it is finished, whatever we are doing now is what we'll produce later. So now is the time for us to start coming up with the new ideas. Now is the time for us to start, reading more. It's the time for us to start really planning and putting in place everything that it will be necessary for the new world, because the old world is gone. The old way we were doing things is gone away. So now we need to be thinking to say, okay, now in this time, what am I reading? What am I studying? What am I building myself up with, that when lockdown is done, I'm going to approach the new world with this. I'm going to approach the new world with this idea to make sure that it's to make sure that I am okay and that I'm contributing something to the country, to the city, and to the world. So wow. That would be my encouragement.
Wow, that's a powerful message. Our viewers, ASAPH, love books. I don't know if ASAPH reads at all. Do you read books? And are there any books that you'd want to recommend to our book-loving viewers?
I do read books. The one that I read recently, I read it in 2019, and then I read it again just to get, that inspiration. It was a book by, he's a broadcaster from America called Charlemagne the God. He's got a book called Black Privilege, which is basically talking about the limitations that we put on ourselves are all just in the mind. We will say that, oh, I'm a Black person, how will I make it in this world? Or I'm so, how will I make it in this world? But those are limitations that we can really break through. And that book actually inspired me to go to Sky's Metro and let them know that, hey, I'm here. I want to do something. What can I do? You know what I mean? So that's the book that I recently read again, just to refresh and inspire myself once more. So for those, especially young people who maybe feel like they're not sure what to do next with their lives, that's a book that I would recommend, because he's got a lot of cool, urban, hip ideas to say, do this, go here and ask for an internship, go there and do that. You know what I mean? So I would recommend that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, ASAPH, for creating the time to join us on In Conversation. I love your music. The 3 tracks that I've listened to are international standard quality music. And I have no doubt from what you're saying that the sky is the limit for you. So we're going to be watching you, ASAPH, and cheering you on. So allow me to address myself to our viewers, ASAPH, who are all across the world. They're in Zimbabwe, on the continent, and the diaspora. They follow this show every week. And to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our quality conversation, we invite you to click on the red button and you receive an alert every time we have one of these quality conversations. Until next time, cheers to you all.